so we're going with it. We're going with it. We're going with it. Hello. I am so glad that you could be here today. My name's Rich, the channel's called New Memphis, and today we're painting up some very fun Genestealer Cult zombies. Also, I apologize if it's a little smoky in here. Apparently the country next door is on fire. Been a bit of a crazy week for me, which is why this video is definitely gonna be put out late. Sorry about that. But if you don't remember this project, a few months ago I bought a hard used lot of Genestealer Cult. Anyway, a lot of these models had a lot of the details in their face clogged with primer and glue all over their bodies, but the face was where it was especially bad. And I don't own a sonic cleaner, and I figured by the time I used alcohol and a toothbrush to scrub it all out, I would basically just be destroying all of that detail anyway. So I decided to just snip the heads off and get creative. Fortunately for me, I had recently bought the Skulls for the Skull Throne box from Games Workshop. Great product, I would highly recommend, though at about 30 bucks before shipping, I would not recommend buying it unless you have a very specific project in mind that you know you're going to use a lot of skulls for. The number of skulls, like the amount of product you get for the money, is great if you have a project to use them in. That's the one caveat I would say before you buy this. Or a lot of Games Workshop basing and like extra parts, things like that. And honestly, I really do like how these turned out originally. This one even reminds me of Sir Daniel from Medieval. God, will anyone get that reference? Anyway, if you want to see how these models came to be, including how I got the base texture, you can check out one of my previous videos from back when my intro looked like this. Back in ye olden days of 5 months ago. But speaking of how much the channel has grown, feel free to subscribe, like the video, or leave a comment to help peer pressure the algorithm into being nice to me if, and only if, you like the project and you want to see it get promoted to other people. I mean, I guess you can leave a comment if you don't like it too, but you're kind of helping the channel either way, so I mean, take it with a grain of salt. You can also join the Patreon if you really want to help the channel, and that's always appreciated. You can even if you don't want to join the Patreon, the first 5 chapters of my book, Barrowstadt, coming out in September, are up there, and you can read those for absolutely free. Warning, it is horrendously violent. Okay, plugs and obscure references are now over. I'm super excited to be painting up another 10 of these minis. I think they look absolutely fantastic, and I'm really excited to get started, actually. I hope you are too, so crack open a cold one, and let's prepare to destroy the Imperium from the inside. I can't believe I didn't know I could just tilt the glass to get my beer with less head this entire time. But it's coffee this week, so I don't get to show off my newfound skills. Should have mentioned sooner that I'm a barista, not a bartender. Oh yeah. Let's get started. We used a vibrant blue to base coat the jumpsuits and tattered clothing of our last set. So we'll start this next cabal with dark vermilion. I'm actually excited to use this color because it reminds me of Reikland's colors in old Warhammer Fantasy. And I'm hoping we can evoke some of that Oldhammer vibe. Next, we'll use silver for all of their armor plating. And then we'll use London Grey for any of their clothing, like gloves, straps, and pouches, plus a few details on the weapons. Here they are after those 3 main base coats, looking good so far. Next, we'll use black for the torso. We're also going to dry brush this with bronze later, but I unfortunately didn't get that on camera. Sorry about that. We'll use gold for the shotgun shells and smaller trinkets, like the Tyrannid charms they all carry. Now personally, I'd like to see charm bracelets become essential kit for every Tyrannid army, but Games Workshop does not seem to agree. Whatever. Moving on to the bases, we'll mix up some intermediate green until it's very thin, so as not to clog up these coffee grounds making up the tops of the bases. Yes, this texture is used coffee grounds. It looks rough right now, but we're not done quite yet. Starting on the weapons, just like the last batch, I want to show a mix of civilian, construction, and military hardware. So we'll paint this chainsword in deep yellow. And several of the shotguns in flat green. I already painted one of the shotguns in London Grey earlier, and we'll paint the remainder in bronze. Finally, we'll paint the sides of the bases in flat green, bringing us to the end of the Happy Meal toy phase of painting. We can now move on to the black wash. And it just now occurs to me, we haven't washed anything with black for a while. I mean, it's been black-red, dark Prussian blue, but no actual black. Which is probably a rarity in for Warhammer 40k. Painting nailed it. They looked okay before, but those shadows are a marked improvement. Instead of black, we'll wash the bases with German extra dark green. After adding some highlights with our original base colors to bring out the red, silver, and gray, we'll dry brush the weapons with silver to start, and then the black torsos with bronze, as I said before. Both were a little bit bright at the end, so we'll use some black wash to tone that down. Now we get to do the bones and skin, or what's left of it. I'll be the first to admit, I added way too much water to this cork brown. I wanted to mix up a glaze, but it ended up being way thinner than I wanted. But something always goes wrong, and I am in a bit of a rush, so we'll make it work. On to something that looked much better. For the Tau skeletons, we'll use a glaze of azure. And for the orcs, flat green. We'll also dab any paint from out of the eyes, and then add a black later. We're almost done. Next, we'll wash the skin with black red. A great color to use on skeletons, in my opinion. For the human skeletons, we'll just use it on the bottom half of the skull. With that done, we can finish up the bases by dry brushing the tops in deep yellow. This should solidify that Oldhammer vibe we're trying to emulate. The final step will be just a few highlights of white, but forgive me for saving that for the big reveal. Hope you guys had fun. Remember to subscribe. I have nothing else to say, so let's go on to the big reveal. So as you probably know, one of the big themes here at New Memphis is the importance of continuing in your hobby for your sake, not anyone else's. And, you know, also the reality that the only way for you to get better at hobbying is to actually do it. You can only watch so many YouTube tutorials before you just need to start putting paint on the model. We all like the same thing here, guys. So I thought I would punctuate this video with two things that I liked about this project and one thing that I want to try and improve on next time. Perhaps this can be a valuable structure when you're evaluating your own models, because it's very easy to get sucked into a rabbit hole of either thinking your models are better than they are, or more likely in this community, thinking your models are trash because they don't look as good as the ones you saw on Instagram, which are made by, you know, professional artists. Just something to keep in mind. Also that Photoshop exists. I am really happy with how the red looks on the models, and I'm very, very happy that I took the time to go back and do some extra highlights. I think it just adds a lot and keeps the models from being too dark. It allows them to still be horrifying, but be very vibrant, you know? Like really bold on a busy tabletop. I also think that the Tau and the Orc skeletons turned out absolutely amazing. Those colors look just absolutely divine. As far as things I want to do better next time, the cork brown wash thing just did not work out, and the models really need to be brightened a bit. Like the human skeletons really need a bit more, a more robust color, so they're not just gray. But at the same time, you know, something always goes wrong, you know, and at the end of the day, if you're making a 2,000 point list and this is just a box of infantry, get them on the table. You can make corrections later. It's okay, guys. And don't let anyone in your comment section when you're trying to post convince you that your stuff isn't worthy of praise. Because at the end of the day, the way that you get better is by doing it, is by going out and by putting paint on the models. I hope you guys remember that during your hobbying journey. I'm certainly going to try to remember that during my hobbying journey. And overall, I just hope you guys have a great day. Hope to see you in the next one too. Subscribe, maybe, if you've made it this far in the video. I can't imagine that you haven't. And, yeah. I'll see you in the next one.